Hey guys, Tim from Invictus Paintball here to do a video on the complete disassembly and reassembly of the 2011 Azodin Kaos pump. So, just get started. Barrel. Really easy. Most people know how to do this. Just unscrew the barrel. There it is. Next, take off Hitman mod. Okay. And we'll take off the feed neck. Just unscrew that. Take that piece off. Show you slide it back up in there as far as it goes. There it is. So I can freely wiggle around a bit. Next we can take the grips off. Just 2 screws on each side. There it is. Just take that out. Next we can take the detent covers off. Detent right there. Take the other side. Take out the detent. Next we can take off the ASA. Just on the bottom there, just 2 screws there. There it is, really easy. Next we can take the entire regulator off. It's real easy. Just grip the regulator, not the line. This thing can spin around, won't unscrew anything. Grab the regulator, just twist that off. Just comes off real easy like that. I can take this line off by grabbing this with a wrench and twisting it off, but don't have a wrench on me right now. Just doing this with the Allen keys it came with. So next we can take the bolt out. Just this little knob right here. Just pull this up and back. Really easy. Next we can take the pump and cocking rod out. Just take a smallest Allen key, this screw right there, that tiny thing, take it out. And do not lose this. This is a very small screw, and that pump can just slide right off along with the cocking rod. Do not lose this screw. It is very small and very important. Next we can take off the grip frame. Just 1 screw right there. One more screw in this little hole right there. can't slide off, but should take it off. There we go. Take these screws out. Make sure you don't lose this piece right there. Put it on the screws. Set on the side. And there's the tire grip frame and trigger. And we're left with this. Next, we can take out the back plug. Just unscrew this entire piece right there. Tip it over. That comes out. I want to keep this entire assembly together. Make it easy to put back in. Next, flip it over to this side. Take the smallest Allen key. This. No, not yet. First, before that, we go in here. This screw, right there, right in there. Take this out. It is pretty tight. It should be pretty tight. This. Okay, that comes out along with the O-ring. Do not lose the O-ring. Set that aside. Next, we can take out this entire thing right there. Next, we can unscrew this screw right here to take this thing apart. This piece slides off. And then this entire assembly right here. You can take this apart. And it's much easier just to keep it all together, unless you need a cleaner or something. Keep this together, makes it easier to put it back together. And the last piece right there, the valve. Just take a caulking rod, send it down there. After you unscrew this screw right there. Completely forgot about that. But yeah, this screw right there, just take that out. Then you send the caulking rod down there. This O-ring pops out the other end. Just grab that and slide the rest of the way out. And there it is. Completely disassembled. There is the valve. And there are all the pieces right there. Yeah. So now let's put it back together. Okay. So first we put the valve in. Make sure, well, don't know if the O-rings will be the same on every model, but on this one the clear O-ring is pointed to the front. This opening right there goes to the front. This more closed portion right there points to the back. Do not mix those up. Bad things will happen. And when you're putting this back in, make sure you align the screw notch right there. Not the hole, the notch. Okay? Make sure you align that. This hole right there. Just push that in there. Take the caulking rod, push a little further in. Make sure you have it aligned. There it is, and put the screw back in there. Don't need to over tighten that, just making sure that piece doesn't slide at all. And you take this, put it in there, really easy. Make sure you line this hole right there, that screw hole up this top hole, okay? Just make sure that's all lined up. Then take this piece with its O-ring, the O-ring in there. Do not forget the O-ring, it will leak air. Put it in this top screw hole right there. It has 3 little holes right there. It goes in the top hole. There it is. O-rings lined up. Screw this screw back in there. Right, hold on. Need to push this piece in just a little bit while you're screwing in to make sure the hole is lined up. Oh, hang on, O-ring's popping out a bit there. Do not want that to happen. There it is, lined up. Make sure that is really nice and tight, not over tightened, just nice and tight. It is holding high pressure air while you shoot. Make sure that is pretty tight. Next, we take this piece right here, flip it over, slide it over those O-rings. Make sure this hole right there is lined up with that right there, okay? Then you take this little screw right there, can't start that by hand. You have to line those two holes right there. Screw it in. There it is. Should have it nice and aligned. There it is, all nice. Okay, next we can, let's see, put the back plug back in. Now this piece right here, make sure this little notch right there is facing upwards, okay? Because without that, it will not cock, it will not shoot, and you will be trying to figure out what's going on. Okay, so do not mess this up. Make sure this piece is facing up, okay? Then you put the spring in there. Tighten the back plug. Yeah, the thing is, while you're tightening the back plug, the piece spins around. So, once again, check to make sure the notch is lined up. Double check, triple check, make sure it stays lined up while you're tightening it, or else when you put this back in, it will not work, okay? So, that is not being put in yet. First, we put, that's not a regulator, where is it? Yeah, next we put regulator back on. Oh, this point doesn't really matter what order you put the pieces in, I guess. We're all going to the same place. Screw this regulator back in there. Let's make sure it is nice and tight. Once again, it does hold highly pressured air. Next, we can take the grip frame. Where are the screws? Here they are. Screws. Slide one screw in there before you start to put it on. And this little notch right there. Okay? Line that up with the screw hole. The entire assembly right there. Come on. There it is. Put the screw in right there. Start tightening that. Get the screw in right there. Sure it's decently tight, not over tightened. Not over tightened, just tight enough. Okay. So next we can put the bolt cocking rod and the pump back in. So to do this, take the pump, put it in there. Oh, one thing, there's a spring inside the pump, goes in right there. Make sure you don't lose that or else the pump will not work. Next, take the pump, put it on there, take the caulking rod, put it in this little hole right there in the pump, okay? When you're putting this in, make sure this hole right there is lined up with this little notch on the caulking rod, okay? That's how that tightens and stays on. And this piece right there goes into here, okay? So put it on there, make sure it's nice and lined up there, and take the tiny screw, put it on there, and tighten this. There it is, all good. And once we do that, make sure this piece is still lined up with the top. And now we can put the bolts back on. Hold on. Then you push this down, might need to wiggle it around a little bit, make sure it's lined up. And if it works, it does work. There it is. Now we can start putting all this back on. Take the ASA, line it up there. Where are the screws? There they are. Put the screws on. It's easier if you put the back screw on first to line it up. Just screw this in right there. There it is. Other screw. Here it is. Nice and tightened. Next we put detent covers on. Just make sure it's the right side. Yep. Take the detent, put it in this little notch right there. There it is. Pull the bolt back to make it easier. Put that on. Screw it back in. Might have been a better idea to put the bolt in after this, but hey, make sure that's decently tight. Again, not over tightened. Put this back in. There it is. That's nice and tight. Next, the neck. Just screw this back on. There it is. The grips. Just screw these in. That Allen key is too small. Other other side. Put the Hitman mod back in there. And the barrel. And there we have a completely functioning Azodin Kaos pump. There it is. Thanks for watching. 20 minutes. Okay.